Hi, everybody. I noticed this article that I wanted to bring to your attention, and the article is in World News Today, and it talks about talk radio is dying. Thanks, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity for its eventual demise. My experience with talk radio has been long, and I've been a big talk radio fan for I don't know over 30 years. And how I got started listening to talk radio as I was in the Midwest, and we didn't really have much media back there outside of watching TV. And if you listen to the radio, it was always music stations. And I remember in the early 1990s when I heard Rush Limbaugh for the first time, and I was addicted right from the start. I thought Rush Limbaugh he was saying stuff I thought that somehow any day he's going to get arrested for the outlandish. He was mocking the Clintons. He was saying stuff about how awful they were and making fun of them, and really making light of them, and really talking in a way that wasn't very used to weren't used to hearing. And he was saying stuff that was really cutting edge. And I was really addicted to this guy. I mean, I thought he was really something special. And I remember I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours listening to Rush Limbaugh, thinking that he was just, I hung on every word and every thinking, all the thoughts and thinking and conservative beliefs that he had. And I did that for a long time until one day I found another guy by the name of Alex Jones. And Alex Jones was like Rush Limbaugh on steroids. I mean, he said crazier stuff than Rush Limbaugh. He talked about 9/11 and high fructose corn syrup, and he talked about the world order. You know, how we have a few families controlling everything in the world, and that was just so addicting to get into that and start getting into that mindset and thinking, wow, this stuff is going on. I didn't know all this stuff was going on. And I listened to Alex Jones for years. And then I just kind of got to a point where I got away from him because I was working way too often, too much, couldn't listen to him. And then I started researching and doing stuff on my own and going on the internet and listening to other people. And now when I listen to Rush Limbaugh or Alex Jones, they just seem so irrelevant. Not because I think what happened is that the market just exploded, and now the ideas, we're in an era of information, and there's just so many ideas and so much information out there that the uniqueness of having this, and they're the only people saying it, and you got to go to these guys to hear it, was something that was just kind of phenomena at the time, and it's no longer a phenomena. I mean, if you want to listen to people talk about 9/11, you don't have to go listen to Alex Jones. It's all over the internet. If you want to listen to people talk about how Obama, you know, is got all kinds of crazy, liberal thinking, or used to, as part of a marijuana club or whatever you want to think about him. I don't know. I don't care. But I mean that crazy stuff, not necessarily crazy. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but that kind of thinking is pretty easy to find. So it's everywhere. So now these guys, and I mean, I was watching Alex Jones the other night a little bit on his channel, on his YouTube channel, and I quit watching Alex Jones when he started pushing this guy around at a rally that had just lost a child from one of these mass shootings. And Alex Jones got up there and got in his face and kind of was really trying to be a tough guy with this guy. And at that point, I just really lost interest in the guy, because it was almost like Donald Trump going after the cons because because they got up and said a few things, and he felt a little bit threatened by him because they said a few things, and of course the guy said, you need to read the Constitution, I got it right here. And for him to go after those people, considering where they were at and what they had gone through, I think was just not in. It just didn't set well with you. Didn't set with me, and that's the way Alex Jones was. It just didn't set well with me. So as I started to go on and learn and find more places to get the information, I just quit listening to him, although I still occasionally do. But I listened to him the other night, and I saw that he had a huge set, and he's got, screens and televisions and all this other stuff all around, and he's got a big set, and it looks like he's, CNN or something. And I'm thinking, this is really kind of overkill for what he does. I mean, and then sometimes I just see him where he's in a t-shirt, or maybe sometimes even shirtless, with his cell phone in front of him making a video. So, you know, and then he's got the big introduction and stuff like that. I don't need to sit there and listen to Alex Jones for what he has to say. He's one opinion out there on the internet, just one. And there's a lot of people. And it's interesting to me that, you know, he has about 1.5 million followers on his internet YouTube channel, which is not very big. I mean, in today's world, I know kids that are 19 years old that have more followers or more subscriptions or more subscribers than Alex Jones. So Alex Jones isn't, you know, and he always talks about how big he is, how big I'm biggest thing on news, I'm biggest thing on internet, I'm biggest thing on everything. And I mean, I don't know if he says that because he just doesn't really understand it, or he just says that because he says what he says and he never really thinks about what he says. And that kind of makes me question him too, because, you know, you can go right to YouTube and you can look at the subscribers he has and you can look at the subscribers other people have, and he's not a very big YouTube channel. I mean, and so, you know, it's just another thing out there. And you know, and I'm not bashing Alex Jones because I do like Alex Jones and I've listened to him a lot. In fact, I've even bought stuff from him. I've purchased stuff off of his website, and I remember when I had Alex Jones bumper stickers. I had everything. I mean, I was an Alex Jones big fan of Alex Jones, but it's just not as relevant as it used to be. The arena of ideas has grown, and the people that are supplying information on the internet is grown, and you don't have to go to those few people to get that information. And now those people are becoming less. It's almost like if there's a bucket of water, and the bucket, you just put something in a little bit into the water to try and add something to the water, just a few drops. And that's kind of like what Alex Jones is in the world of ideas, just a few drops. We're all just a few drops. There's nobody that dominates CNN, Fox News, Alex Jones, Rush Limbaugh. There's so many ideas out there. I listened to a guy the other night on YouTube, and this guy puts a video out. I mean, he's just a guy sitting in this garage making videos, and he's putting a video out literally about every 2 or 3 hours. He's putting out so much content. He's just a guy sitting in his garage, just speaking his mind about stuff. I mean, he's in that bucket of water too. I mean, everybody's in there. You got thousands and thousands and thousands of YouTube channels, and everybody's got an opinion, including myself. I mean, I'm just a little drop out there in the bucket of water too, and they're all just drops in a bucket of water. And so, as you know, and that's hard for me to understand this or get around this, get my mind around it, because I was such a huge fan for so long, and I just lived and died for talk radio and what the next thing that was going to happen on talk radio. And I mean, if I heard something on the news, the first thing I had to hear is what Alex Jones had to say about it, or what Rush Limbaugh had to say about it. Now I just go to YouTube, or I just do an internet search, and I find out what I want to think about it. I don't go to those people anymore. I don't go to those guys anymore. So it has evolved. It is changing. I don't think it's going to be as relevant as it used to be. And I do think that these guys got big egos, and I don't think they're as important as they used to be. And then, that's a good thing. The fact that so many people are voicing ideas, and you have an incredible ability to go out and listen every point of view from every angle. And I'll tell you, since I have been listening to more people, my views have changed. At one point, I would have been strictly a Donald Trump fan. I would have been strictly a Hillary Clinton fan. I would have been strictly on the one side or the other. I wouldn't be where I'm at today, where I really don't care for either one of them. I would have picked up on one person's point of view, and I would have accepted that as my own, because that's all that I heard. And when that's all that you hear, you really don't vary your thinking very much. So I think what's happening is good. I think the opportunity to hear so many different people, and not just to get fixated on one voice or one channel or one thing, is something that's so unique to today's world. And thank God for it. It's a blessing that we don't really appreciate. So that's my point of view, and I appreciate you listening. Thank you very much.